Hello and welcome to Hidden Gems. My name is Arden Thomas, Syncom Smalltalk Product Manager. Last time we talked about something new called DomainMaster. And DomainMaster is basically a framework that encourages, supports, and simplifies wide-scale modular application construction and especially application reuse. And you can save and benefit tremendously by something like this. So I am really happy to introduce this as a big benefit to Syncom Smalltalk programmers and developers. So if you have any comments or suggestions, please reach me at athomas@syncom.com. So last time we talked about 3 patterns. The first pattern, pattern 1, simply shows a domain. Let's take a look at Stock App here. Here's the Windows spec. If I edit it, the name, simply the aspect is my name, my industry, my sector. This is because my, which is the application, and the application behaves as a value model. I can simply get the information from my domain with this simplified syntax. One benefit. And if we take a look at the instance side of this, there's literally no code. So that's pattern 1. Pattern 2 is using a list. So we can have a list of objects. Whenever I select one of the 5,000 stocks in this list, that becomes the domain for this application, and we can connect to it very easily. It can also show not just a list, but also a data set. And another thing here is typically when you open an application, you get the builder. In this case, if we inspect this, we actually get the application itself, which is often very helpful. So that's a change. Another thing, pattern 2, the DomainMaster list does is allow us to subset the list very easily. So here, if we get this is a subset of 30 stocks, and we can, once we've opened this application, let me open that back up. We have that. We can, it's retrieving that. Okay, it is now winnowed down to the 30 stocks in the Dow Jones Industrial Average, and it also caches your entire list, so you can do a number of subsets of the list and restore it at any time simply by saying show full list. So that is pattern 2. Pattern 3 is where we integrate both applications, the list and the domain visual, into one. And the reason this encourages reuse, let's take a look at stock list, stock app right here. It has an initialize that says super, and my list, this is stock list app. Stock list stock app says my stock list app new, and stock app get your domain from the stock list app. This is all the code. These are simply getters. This is all the code for this right here. So if we go to our application, we have basically 2 sub-canvases. We have the 2 applications, the stock list app and the stock app put in, and that is basically it. So that's how you can easily tie together 2 applications. And as I pointed out, this is just the beginning of ways that you can plug these applications together by creating a library. So this time on Hidden Gems, we're gonna show another example of this that I hope you enjoy. Welcome back to Hidden Gems. This time we're going to give another example of using the DomainMaster to construct modular applications. So with our dataset example we saw a moment ago, I wanted to build something a little more useful, something that would let me search through. So for example, if I want to see any stocks that have text somewhere in the name, I can do so like this. I can select, let me actually back up here, make that everything, and this shows me all my sectors. If I choose a sector, Now I see just the industries in that sector. And if I choose, and anytime I choose any of these menus dynamically rebuild. So, for example, if I show all advertising, I see just the sectors, and if I pull down the menu, I only see the sectors relevant to what's showing in the list. So this is an example of dynamic menu construction using Syncom Smalltalk. So let's take a look at the application. Stocks Filters app right here. And one thing you'll notice, it's pretty busy. We have a lot going on because we have a lot of filters to contend with. So what I wanted to do, here's what the interface looks like. I have my dataset app, which is nice and clean reuse of a modular application. I have all these filter pieces. And what I wanted to see if I could do is make this a simpler and more modular reuse with DomainMaster. So what I did was built a stock filters app. Let's take a look at that. Let's edit that. And that is just these filter pieces. This, by the way, is the size, the resulting size of the set, size holder, name holder, sector menu, industry menu, exchange menu. So I built that into its own application, and it does essentially the heavy lifting as far as the filtering. Here's the initialize for it. We start out with these menu holders, nil is value. So this is what we use if we want to dynamically rebuild our menus and provide them for an application. We have a menu holder. Whenever we rebuild the menu, we pop it into that menu holder and we have a new menu. So this is a very useful technique. The menus, let's see, sector menu, we get from the display list. So this is our filtered list. And we get all we add first an empty, so we can go back to none selected, and we simply build and return the menu. Now let's take a look. Let's see, stock filters app, that we open that up, and actually we can do things with it here. It actually works, and it actually is changing a list. Notice it tells us how many are in the selection. So here's 5,195. If I say, show me what's in consumer durables, I can see I have 147. So it basically maintains and filters the list all by itself. And what's the advantage of this? Well, I could have multiple interfaces for this, and I can reuse this as a piece now. And we're gonna do that right here with stock filters app. So this is stock list, stock filters app. Let's go to the class side, window spec. Let's edit that. Now this is much simpler because we have our stock dataset app in a subcanvas and our stock filters app in a subcanvas. So a whole lot simpler, and we're reusing this. And also the advantage of reusing that piece is we're reusing that same code over again, maybe many times, so it will hopefully be well-tested code, and I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel each time. Let's go. These are simply getters, so let's take a look at, so this is basically all the code for reusing these pieces. We get a stock dataset app new, stock filters app new, and the magic is in how we tie them together. We tell the stock dataset app, your list manager comes from the stock filters, and that's it. So the stock filters manages and filters the list, and the stock dataset app just displays what's in that list. And that's it. And there's lots of very creative ways that we can do this. So let's see if this works. Sure enough, that comes up. Let's show everything in the New York Stock Exchange. Let's say everything that has a 3 somewhere in the name. And there we go. There's 24. Likewise, we could We could search on, again, anything with tech in the name, and there we go. So this is another example of building up your library of modular application pieces and reusing them very quickly and easily. And as I've pointed out to before, we're just getting started. There's a whole lot you can do with this, and the more you reuse these pieces, the more benefit you get from that, since you have really very little code to reuse these pieces. And hopefully you get to reuse those pieces in lots and lots of places. Again, reusing well-tested code over and over, which is just a big benefit to this type of modular programming. So until next time, enjoy using Syncom Smalltalk. If you have any questions, suggestions, anything that you'd like to see, any particular type of capability, please send me an email at athomas@syncom.com. Thank you.